Hi everyone. On this video, I will show you how to deploy the Couchbase operator on Kubernetes deployed on Konvoy. So Konvoy is our new offering to deploy a Kubernetes cluster with everything you need around it for metric, monitoring, and so on. So we start by deploying Konvoy. We can deploy multiple software on top of Konvoy. You see here a list of many partners, and we'll focus on Couchbase. We have documentation about how to deploy some of these software, and we'll also use some of the information you can find on the Couchbase website. But just to start, we just deploy a Konvoy cluster very easily. And in a few minutes, we'll have a Kubernetes cluster in 1.15.2 and all the things you need to operate it. Okay, so our cluster is ready. We can now configure kubeconfig easily that way, and we can access the UI of our Konvoy cluster through that URL. So I connect to it, and then we just follow the instructions there. So we just deploy the operator. You have to start by the admission controller. So before just checking that you can use kubectl correctly, and we should see the nodes are in 1.15.2. Like you can see, very recent version of Kubernetes, probably the latest one even. So to deploy this admission controller, it's explain what it is doing. It's just like checking what you do to make sure that you don't make any mistake when you interact with your Couchbase clusters. So you just go through the right directory. So then we just launch the admission controller, and you can check the deployment easily that way. It's not ready yet, but it will be in a second. It is now. So the next step is to install the operator itself. So you just first install the CRDs that we need for this operator, and then you create like a role on your cluster and a service account that will be used by the operator to deploy all the different components on Kubernetes. And now we are ready to just deploy the operator itself. So it doesn't deploy a Couchbase cluster yet, it just deploys the operator that will allow us to then deploy a Couchbase cluster. So just again checking the deployment, and it's already ready, so it's good. We can also take a look at the logs of the operators to see that everything is good. So we can just do like get pods, and then just checking the logs of this operator here, and we shouldn't see any error there, so we are good. So next step, we can now deploy our cluster, and for that you need to create or to use this file description that shows what you want to do, like the version of the cluster and the amount of resources and things like that. And here it's important to have this value to true if we then want to access the UI to manage our cluster. So we just create a secret first that will be containing the user and password to access the UI. It will be administrator password, and then we can deploy the cluster. So just deploying this secret, and now we are ready to deploy our cluster. And easily just checking the pods, we'll be able to see these 3 pods corresponding to our Couchbase cluster. So it should be first one and then going through creating the other one. So just wait 2 minutes. At the same time, we can go through Konvoy access easily the Kubernetes dashboard. As you can see, we can also use Grafana and to access some other dashboards for different metrics. We can manage the logs with Kibana and so on, but here we just use the Kubernetes dashboard, checking what is going on there, and we see these pods that are being deployed. And also what's interesting is the persistent volumes that are automatically created for that cluster. So we see that they have been used here for Velero for the backup, and we also can use this persistent storage for Couchbase. But by default, it doesn't use persistent storage. You can see how to do that here with this guide, just explaining you how to do that. The storage class already exists by default on the Kubernetes cluster deployed by Konvoy, so you can just leverage it, just adding storage class to the Couchbase cluster configuration, like you can see here. So going back to our deployment, we should have it running now, and we can also access the UI, just doing like a port forwards on this port, which is the one where it listens for the UI. And now if I just go here and access 91, I can see I have the admin console. And I can access my Couchbase dashboard, and I see my 3 servers running and so on. That concludes our video. As you can see, it's very easy to deploy a Couchbase cluster on Konvoy, just a few minutes. We use the default values, but as I've explained, you could leverage persistent storage, you could do some different customization based on your needs in terms of the resources you allocate to each node and so on. Thank you for listening.